Hello and welcome to Building the Premier Accounting Firm. I'm your host, Roger Connect, president of Universal Accounting Center, and this is a show dedicated to helping individuals like you start and build successful bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses. It's here on the show that we actually address a variety of things that you need to consider as you're running the business, whether it ranges from marketing, selling, pricing, tech stacks, training your staff, onboarding your clients, retaining your clients, even mental health. And in fact, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, the mind game, things that we need to be considering as we're actually in our own heads running our businesses, things that we can do to actually improve our self-talk. Now, with regards to that, I've got on each and every episode guests, experts in their own right, and today's going to be an excellent example of that. This is someone I've been looking forward to have on the show. It's Robb Zbierski. He happens to be someone that is an expert in this space. He is someone that I'm excited to have on the show because of his experience and expertise. So let me just give you an idea of what he brings to the table, something that I'm sure you will appreciate. He works with companies across a broad spectrum of industries. Robb actually helps his clients develop professional skills with a positive mindset that lets them discover their potential and maximize their results. His process switches on their personal money magnet, allowing them to consistently achieve record-breaking results in new ways and less time, and using less friction, basically be in a fraction of the effort that allows them to actually enjoy every minute of it. He's also written a book, Train Your Brain for Success, that we're going to be discussing. So Robb, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
There you go. I love it. I always wanted to have a radio show.
Dude, I love that intro. You were like the Montgomery Ward's catalog of
thank you.
Value that you bring to folks in your to your audience. That was amazing. Like you just he's still going.
He's still going. There's a lot of value. You've got to set the stage, manage the expectations. So that's one of the things that I try to do. So Robb, I met you at Bridging the Gap, a conference. This is something that I tend to do, is go to a variety of conferences and hear from the experts. You shared some amazing things, and I want to give my listeners an opportunity to really kind of dive into who you are and what it is you're an expert on. Give us a little bit of background as to what it was that got you to be the expert you are today, how you started this journey.
Oh yeah, I straight up needed a job about 15 years ago. So I actually come from the bicycling industry. I spent 10 years in the bicycle industry working for a couple bigger brands. And back my job was relocated from Madison, Wisconsin to Bethel, Connecticut. My wife gave me we can move. Do you want to get divorced now or in 2 years? And so that put me on the path to looking for a new job. And I got connected with Freedom Personal Development, which is the company I'm with now. And I'm a product of the product. It's a personal and professional development training organization where we focus on skill set and mindset type of training. So we do things like memory training and speed reading and those some of the soft skills that help you in your day to day. But then we spend a lot of time focusing on mindset training. So things like train your brain for success, how to master your mind, how to attitude, how to live with abundance, goal setting, time management. A lot of those things that honestly they get a lot of lip service at most of the conferences you and I end up at, right? But we actually have found a way to help people implement in a way that works and works now. And so to answer your question though, is I dove in. I came from a totally different world that didn't have access to the types of ongoing personal development, continuing ed, things like that I know the bookkeeping, the accounting world, the financial services world does. So I said, I can be down with this. If I'm going to sell this, I got to learn it. So I literally spent the first 2 to 3 years of my career with this company just diving into the nitty gritty of what it took to learn the skills, use the skills, watch the impact that it had on my personal life and my paycheck, candidly. And I'm like, wow, this stuff actually works. And so then I, through the course of just kind of a natural progression of the work I was doing and with individuals and organizations, that allowed me the opportunity to do some one-on-one coaching. And so we picked up on, between myself and my business partner, Roger. Quick point of clarification: Roger wrote the book, Train Your Brain.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
It's all good. Roger's site. But then he and I co-authored another book called Master Your Mind. And so that's where when Train Your Brain came out, people were reading it, they were loving it, they were learning all the skills that I just talked about. The stuff that the talk that we were walking. Yeah, the talk that we were walking. And they're going, hey, we need some more of this. And they're asking questions that just weren't getting addressed in the book. So that's what led us to write the second book, which really kind of made the coaching business take off. And so for the last 5-6 years, I've had the privilege of working with literally dozens of individuals on helping them get and keep their head on straight. And so we talk about the idea of understanding how your mind creates your life. It's kind of the premise of what the work we do is understanding how your mind creates your life, understanding that your brain is actually hardwired to totally get in your way if you're not paying attention to it, and then really helping people learn some strategies that they can use. I use implement all the time. I think has implement jumped the shark yet? Like I feel like
no, you still say it.
Like masterclass, implement. I got all the hot button ones that are like they're right there, right? But no, just helping people really understand how to take these ideas that like, oh, I should be helping people stop shoulding all over themselves, right?
There you go.
I should do that, and actually do it, and then go, wow, this stuff works. So we teach them the things that they need to get their brain working for them instead of against them.
Yeah, so let's kind of put this into some context that I think everyone can really benefit from. So first of all, there's a business coach, there's a life coach, there's a head coach. What does head coach mean?
Yep. So I love it. Yeah, like you said, you've got and for the audience listening in, there's business coaches, right? There's your action coach type people. There's your sales coach. There's your marketing coach. There's your P&L, you've got all the different types of businessy coaches. I'm a head coach. I help manage this space in between your ears. What we've found and what we know to be true is that human beings by design can't figure it out on their own, right? If they could, they would have already. And one of the common denominators of unsuccessful people is a go-it-alone mentality. So where we really play well is with people that understand that, there's typically a ceiling to what I can figure out on my own. I know that I can't get there on my own. I need some help. And so what we do is we help people understand and pay better attention to and be more cognizant of kind of the stinking thinking that we hear about all the time, right? Our brains are hardwired to focus on negativity, urgency, and complacency. And that tends to show up in self-talk. It tends to show up in waiting for coffee in the kitchenette. It shows up all the time. So helping people understand how to move from listening to themselves to talking to themselves and managing their mind, managing their thoughts in a way that's going to allow for them to more consistently achieve the results they're looking to get, not just professionally, but personally as well. This stuff applies to, if anybody's got kids, they've probably had some of that thinking that I talked about around some of those negative thoughts, and just really helping them just, again, like I said, get and keep their head on straight.
So I want to jump into not the what and the why, because I think that's what we've already addressed. I want to start now diving into the hows and get some practical things that we can talk about here. And where I'd like to begin is the word perspective. When a business coach, a life coach, let's say the head coach steps into the ring, it's obviously a perspective that they're bringing to the client, the individual, that they don't have, because in our own heads, we see the world in a unique way. It's from our perspective. And what we want is that coach's perspective that can step outside of our norm and what we're not seeing point out. What would you say is the value of perspective?
Oh, I love this one. I love this one for a bunch of reasons. So like shameless self-promotion. One of the things we work on and helping people identify is core values, and perspective is actually my number one core value. So to answer your question though, it's kind of like boxing, right? Where a boxer they've got their trainer, right? You got Mick, cut me, right? You got Mick, but then they got a corner man. And the corner man is the person who their job is to watch the fight from a different angle, see what the fighter is doing well, see where the fighter can be doing things better. And they're also watching the opponent as well. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And then every 3 minutes they get together in between rounds and they're going, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Do this, stop doing that, do more of this, maybe do less of that. Let's go out there. Let's try, give it a shot. And I'll see you in 3 minutes. If the fighter's any good, we're going to see him in 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Or less if they're really, really good. And that's really what I would argue is the value that a head coach brings is, we've got plenty going on in our day to day. We talk about one of the brain's unhelpful default settings is urgency, and that shows up in the squirrel phenomenon, right? Where things pop up all day, every day. And, having someone in your world that can look at your situation from an outsider perspective with an unbiased set of eyes, somebody who's gone through the process with other professionals, who knows who's seen some of these common denominators, can help someone identify. We get blinders on. So many of us, we have our blinders on. We get especially we're coming up on a sexy time of the year in your guys and gals world, and those blinders they get longer and they get thicker. right? And so we get into the grind. It's scotoma is what that's called. It's a blind spot that you don't even know you have, just because you're so focused on one singular thing. And so having somebody that can kind of go, hey, hold on a second. Here's what I see what's going on, or here's what I've heard is going on, or here's some of the challenges that someone in your situation has had. And just bringing that awareness to people is, I don't want to make it over sexy sound, but like, it's life-changing for people, for folks who have just been, like, rise and grind every day for their life, to have them go, oh, wait a minute, hold on, let me take a step back and see what's actually going on with a different, more broader view, that allows them to make better decisions faster. And obviously the results that come along that those are typically a lot better as well.
Yeah. Now, you've twice mentioned so far that many of us have in our minds this wiring to protect ourselves, to be cautious, to be a little bit more preventative, to be risk adverse. One of the things that I want to dive into is, what steps can we do to change that, to rewire it so that we're more optimistic, that we're more willing to try, that we're more open to new opportunities, that we're open-minded? What can we do to actually rewire that and switch so we can actually have a more positive outlook on things?
Yeah, this is probably like 3 episodes all in one conversation. Like, this conversation, you go, like, this is what I do. This is my jam. This could be hours and weeks and months. But here's the short version. What's that?
Give me your jam.
Yeah, I'll give you my jam. The number one thing we tell people to get your brain working for you instead of against you is get a really clear picture for what it is you want and why it's most important to you. Right? Find your why is another one of those things that's super close to jumping the shark, but I also think it's super, super valuable as well. And this is like, when we talk to people, we're like, have a clear vision for the ideal type of practice or business that you want, or firm that you want to run. In an ideal world, who are you working with? How clear are you on the clients that you really want to serve and work with? How clear are you on what your ideal business looks like? How clear are you on the kind of money that you want or deserve to be making? How clear are you on what you want your actual life to be? It's super easy to talk about how to implement this and apply it to your 9 to 5, but man, there's a whole 5 to 9 that happens that most people miss out on because they're busy worrying about their 9 to 5 when they're at home. So what does your ideal family life look like? Your relationships, your physical, what do you look like in an ideal world? Get really clear on that. And then what we tell people is, have a heightened awareness of it. So take those things that you are like, oh, maybe this would be good, that'd be cool. Get really clear on that, and then put systems in place that move things from the back of your mind to the front of your mind. Create reminders. This is where some people think it's going to sound cheesy and corny. This is why dream boards exist. You've heard stories all the time of people who put the picture of the car they want on their desk, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I bought the car. The Porsche shows up in the parking lot, right? Or the dream house or whatever. There's a lot of subconscious stuff that's going on that most people just don't understand, that things like reminding yourself of what's important to you and why, having clear pictures around that, wordsmithing things in a positive, affirmative way is a way to actually train your brain to go put you in a situation where more often than not, you have no choice but to achieve the result you're looking for. So, that's like, stop focusing on what you don't want. That's probably the biggest thing I tell people is, instead of, I don't want this, I don't want that. I don't want to work late. I don't want to work with a pain in the butt client. I don't want to be up against the deadline. It's amazing when you tell yourself what you don't want, how often that shows up in your life.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Knock it off.
Very, very true. And I appreciate you bringing up dream boards. Just yesterday, I did an hour-long presentation on it, and I'm conducting a workshop next week with a group of individuals to actually create their vision boards. I'm very much a proponent of that. And one of the elements, like you just mentioned, is clarity. The more clear your goal is, the more likely it will be achieved. It's that simple. The more specific you are as to what it is you're working towards, the more likely you will actually accomplish it. So that's one of the things that I think is very, very important. And I know that with vision boards, one of the key elements to it is the visual element of it, because it ties to it communicates to the subconscious. So I know you've spoken of that how our mind works is through images. Talk to me about how images can be so beneficial as you're rewiring or programming your brain to focus on what matters most.
Totally. By the way, this is my jam. So, we talk about with people all the time. You got two different parts of your mind. And I'm not a doctor, right? I have no letters after my name except for my last name, just so we're all clear. But I know what I've read. And I know the results that we've been able to help our clients achieve. You've got a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, right? And the subconscious mind it lives literally below your conscious. There's a couple big differences between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. But that subconscious mind is the one that it's the big, powerful results producing part of your mind. And a couple things to understand about this is, number one, it's way bigger part of your mind than your conscious. It's something like 1 million times bigger and 1 billion to the billionth times more powerful than your conscious mind. It thinks in pictures, and it will make you act in accordance with the pictures, even if they don't exist. And so this is a big lesson that we help our clients understand and learn how to literally train their brains to do is, when you think in pictures, by the way, this spoiler alert, this is how your memory works. Your memory lives in your subconscious. So anytime you want to remember something, have a picture of it and be amazed at how much easier it is to remember it. But when you've got clarity for what you want, you basically feed your subconscious. We call it your elephant, because sidebar, there's a great book called The Ant and the Elephant by Vince Pacente. If you haven't picked it up, pick it up. It's not even a huge book. It's a tiny book. It's easy to read. It's a great analogy in understanding the relationship. But basically what happens is you give your subconscious or your elephant a picture for what it is you want, why it's important to you. And it goes, okay, let me go get that for you. And it literally goes to work trying to chase down that goal, that outcome, that ideal life, whatever, without you actually having to put in any additional effort. And so instead of push, rise and grind, hardworking farmer syndrome, cure for the come and go, whatever you want to call it, instead of pushing through, it actually becomes a pull strategy where you just train your brain like, listen, that's what I want. Go get that for me. And your brain will find a way to make it happen for you. It's kind of like GPS, right? You plug in the coordinates on GPS. More often than not, the GPS fills in the address for you. It knows where you're trying to go before you do. And then it automatically calculates the fastest, most direct way to get you there. You're not sitting there going, I can go right here. I can go left here. I can go straight here. I should maybe go through this town. I should maybe avoid that town. No, the GPS goes, you want to get there? Awesome. Here's how to get there. That's essentially how your subconscious works as well. But it needs that picture. Instead of the address, it needs the picture for what you want instead.
Exactly. What I would add to all of this is, first of all, thoughts become things. What you actually think about will be realized. And because of the blinders that you were speaking of, what you're doing is with your subconscious is you're saying, of all the things you're filtering out, stop filtering these things. They're important to me. I want to see these. I want to actually manifest these. And all of a sudden what it says is, oh, okay, these are the priorities. I'm going to take notice of them and draw them to attention. And all of a sudden what happens is things that you weren't noticing before start to pop out. Why? Because you've told your subconscious, these are the things that matter. This is what I'm interested in. And that's one of the things that occurs with confirmation bias. Confirmation bias says these things are important to me. Therefore, find things that confirm what I already believe and know. And all of a sudden it's going throughout the day saying, well, he doesn't believe that, or he doesn't believe that. So I'm not going to show those things to him, but this is important to him and this is important to him. So I'm going to show them again. And that's that confirmation to reaffirm what we already believe. There's a lot going on here at that subconscious level. And if we can just tap into it, it can then work like you were describing for us. And that's not something that a lot of us do very, very well. So I think that's an excellent point. Let's be honest, most of us didn't become bookkeepers or accountants to spend hours learning marketing systems and chasing leads. We did it to serve clients and build a business we love. But what if you could get better clients without the marketing overwhelm? That's exactly what Keepful does. It's the all-in-one marketing system built specifically for bookkeepers and accountants, and it works 24/7 behind the scenes to bring in leads, book consultations, and automate follow-ups. You get a professional website, branded consultation page, and follow-up automations all tailored to your business. No more duct taping tools together or hiring expensive marketing teams. If you want to grow your firm with ease and attract better clients without doing more work, go check out Keepful today at keepful.com. Let me talk about then training your brain for success. What can you do to train it, to actually condition it so that you're in that success mindset?
Yep. So again, have a heightened awareness of what's most important to you. That's first and foremost. Get really clear on what it is you want and why it's most important to you. You got to create energizing, brain-friendly goals, right? With specificity, with due
Smart
date.
goals.
May or may not have a due date, right? There's a whole bunch of characteristics that go along with energizing brain-friendly goals.
Yeah.
Creating a schedule that gives you the space you need to get your job done when you need to get it done, and more importantly, the space you need to rest and recharge the battery. But most importantly, really the nuts and bolts, what it comes down to is having a system, an ongoing system for feeding your mind. This is that big, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful, not people who could be more successful.
All right.
Successful people. See what I did there? Is this, they actually do the stuff I'm about to say. What they do is they've created a daily, a weekly, and a quarterly system for reminding themselves of what's most important to them, right? So on a daily basis, they're reading or listening to something inspirational, motivational, educational, right? They're listening, they're watching and listening to podcasts. They're reading books like Master Your Mind, right? They're doing books like Train Your Brain for Success. They're spending time with their affirmations, right? They're telling themselves, what they really want their life to look like and be, and they visualize what that looks like. So that elephant, that big subconscious, go, okay, let me go get that for you. Right? On a weekly basis, they're getting around positive, like-minded people, and they're learning. Right? They're part of a mastermind group. They're part of a book club, an accountability group. And then on a quarterly basis, they're taking a day off. Right? You're hitting the reset button about every 90 days. When you do that, it's kind of like the defrag button. If they are the old defrag from the Windows 3.14 days, if anybody's my age and older, you remember that you had to run defrag to kind of like put everything back in line, and defrag was the same as decluttering. Your brain every 90 days needs to hit the reset button. So when you're spending time with the things that mean the most to you, when you've got visual reminders, visual cues, when those are immersed into every single thing that you do, when you're following this daily, weekly, quarterly, system for feeding your mind, that's when people start to go from to now we're locked in and making it happen. And the one thing I want to iterate and make as abundantly clear as possible is we talked about a lot of stuff so far today. And we talked about a lot of things that most people that I meet, when they hear for the first time and saying like this, they're like, I'm drinking from the fire hose. The thing I want people to understand is you don't have to do 100 things 100 times better to see 100% change in the result. If you do a fraction of what we talked about today, if all you do is wake up in the morning and say, something amazing is going to happen to me today, and you tell yourself that every single day, like that's one thing that you tell yourself. Just doing that, I don't make guarantees. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm cautiously optimistic. You're going to see a very positive change in your life just by doing that one simple thing.
Yeah, that one thing that you just mentioned, Brian Tracy really harps on that. It's the idea of waking up every day and saying something wonderful will happen to me today. And what you're doing is you're starting the day then with a sense of curiosity. I'm curious, what's going to happen today that's going to be wonderful? And then as you go throughout the day, you're just wondering, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? And it makes life a lot more enjoyable. But then at the end of the day, to reflect back on the activities and say, well, what was the wondrous thing that occurred? And you're able to say, oh, that was wonderful. And this was exciting. That's a great way to live life, simply because you bring wonder into it. It's that curiosity of what is life going to offer or afford me? And you just start to find joy in living. And that's one of the things that I think is really powerful about that statement that you just said. So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. Well, the other thing it does too, there's always value in the debrief, right? And one of the other things it does is it creates momentum and confidence, right? If you sit there and go, oh, what amazing happened to me today? Oh, this, and this. Oh man, and I did it so easy. I wonder what I could do tomorrow. How do I beat that? Like there's this inherent thing in our brain that we want to grow and we want to beat yesterday. That's just like, it's actually built into us. Unfortunately, our complacency, one of our unhelpful default settings of safety is what holds us back. But not unlike a GPS, it gives you that ETA for when it thinks you're going to get there. And I'm sure that no one watching or listening has ever tried to beat the number that shows up on the bottom corner of their GPS, right? It's
do it all the time.
323, I won't beat that, right? And so that's the other nice thing that being in this mindset does for you on an ongoing basis. It helps just, again, that momentum, that confidence, and that ability to just be a little bit better tomorrow than you were today.
So as I've had conversations with people about their mind, working the subconscious, making plans, doing the vision board, as I mentioned, some people kind of see this as frou-frou, just kind of, yeah, it's just fun little positive thinking thought. And they don't really understand or value the importance of this and how it really can empower them to be much more happy and successful. The question I want to ask you is, how do you help people understand that this is something that they should not only trust, but implement?
How do I, proof is in the pudding.
Okay.
Uh, how do I help them understand that this is something they should be doing? There's no shortage of proof points that exist. When you there's a reason thought leaders are called thought leaders, right? And then they've done the stuff, they've shown that it works. Success leaves clues. This is a lesson that we used to share with people. I haven't busted out those words in a while. Thank you, Raja. That's a good. I get to go old school with you all on this one. Um, Anybody who's on the top of their game, anybody who's at the top of the mountain, like they didn't get there on accident, right? And the thing is,
You don't trip up there.
you don't trip up the if you might stumble here and there, but you're still going to make some progress one way or another. But like, yeah, you don't get there on accident. And so when I say success leaves clues is you look at someone who has gotten to where you want to go, chances are very good that if all you do is kind of like retrace their steps or follow in their path or emulate some aspect of what they did, it's not guaranteed, but I'm cautiously optimistic that you're going to get way closer to where you want to be than if you had tried to do it on your own. Again, one of the common denominators of unsuccessful people is that go it alone mentality. One of the common denominators of successful people is they constantly and consistently seek help. So that's what I tell is, look, if you're wanting if you're on the fence on, should I do this stuff? Does it work? Yeah. And I would absolutely advise you to get some help one way or another, to get you and keep you on the path towards what you want. This is, I stole half of this line and I made up the other half. The first half I stole from a gentleman named Rob Hatch. He said the groove and the rut, they look the same. The difference is how you perceive them. If you really think about it, it's just the cut in the ground, right? It's the groove and the rut, they look the same. The difference is how you perceive them. And what I added on this, I'm a little proud of this, is, you can always get into the rut on your own, but you need help to get in the groove.
So I like that.
I do too, right? I bring a high degree of bias to that line, but if you think back on it, like look back on your first job, look back on your schooling, like look back on yesterday. Anytime you found yourself in the groove, I guarantee you had help. You had a coach, you had an education program, you had a mentor, you had some external factor that was giving you some knowledge or some help. Anytime you find yourself in the rut, I guarantee, and I don't make guarantees, but I guarantee you figured out how to get there on your own.
Yeah. I'm going to add to that one thing that I've kind of found to be very true. And it's very similar to what you were just sharing about the rut and the groove. And it's this: in life, we're all going to experience very similar things, very similar stepping stones or stumbling blocks. These are experiences in life that we're all going to have. The difference is with a stumbling block, you tripped over it, you skinned your knee. And from that experience, you might have hurt yourself. But that same experience can be a stepping stone. You can step up on it, rise up, and from that actually get the momentum to take that next step. It's the same experience. It's the same thing. And it can be very trying. It could be death. It could be health. It could be a variety of struggles. But the reality is we're all going to experience them in different times of our life. The question is just whether or not we're going to stumble over it. Are we paying attention? Or are we going to trip? Or are we going to step up on it and actually grow from it? And so that's one of the things that I've really tried to emulate in my life is, am I stepping up on the opportunities that present themselves? Very similar to your rut and groove analogy. So I like that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And then one of the things I'm going to add on to that and say, one of the biggest things that we've seen, your ability to kind of identify, is this a stumbling block or a stepping stone, is when you're clear on what you're all about as a human being. Like when you've got clarity around things like your core values and what you stand for and your non-negotiables, those are the types of, foundational tools that a lot of our clients use to go, yep, stepping stone, yep, stepping stone, yep, stepping stone. So absolutely, if you're listening or watching, and if you've heard the term core values and are like, okay, what do those do? That's what they do. They help you and keep you on track and give you the right perspective that's going to move you towards where you want to be.
I love this. This whole mindset discussion is something that I've always looked forward to having because I think it is so critical to people's success and happiness. So I think this is really good. The turnkey marketing and sales process to getting accounting clients with confidence. The Universal CRM is in fact a tool designed for accounting professionals to help them automate the process to the point of not only finding potentially new clients, but having meetings and getting new engagements to retain them as clients. This process is made up of using specific tools such as CRMs, email marketing, text messaging, sales pipelines, forms, and funnels, as well as reputation management and social proof, getting the testimonials that you need online to substantiate your skills and services. All of these tools and technologies are leveraged to your benefit using the Universal CRM. Go to the episode description and there get the information you need to take advantage of this today. Earlier, you were talking about that 90-day reset, something that everyone needs to do. What do you do for fun?
Oh, I spend a lot of time in spandex on a tiny saddle. So I'm a cyclist. I do a lot. Yeah, there we go. Hey-oh. I don't run the carnival. That was weird. Anyway, no, I shattered a personal mileage record in 2024, which was really fun. But got a couple of big events I signed up for. So I like to ride my bike. I love to get outside. I like to fish. I'm on a multiple decades run of never having been skunked on my annual fishing trip, which is one of my prouder things. So I'm headed down. I've got a gig on Monday down in Lake Guntersville, Alabama, which for any fisher ladies on the call is one of the premier tournament fishing destinations in the U.S. So we'll see what happens when I'm not on stage. And then, I like sitting back and enjoying a cocktail every now and again. So that's what I do for fun. And then I got teenage kids, so I try to get them to not yell at me every now.
There you go. As for the cycling, I'm curious. I'm assuming you've done, the 26 milers and so forth. Have you done a century?
Yes.
Very good.
I've done a handful. I've done there's a ride out in Colorado called the Triple Bypass, which is not a procedure. It's an actual bike ride. But it's when I've done it twice. It's 120 miles. It's 10,000 feet of climbing, and most of the ride takes place above somewhere between 7,500 and 10,500 feet elevation. So it's
impressive.
It's a nether regions buster of a ride, but it's a ton of fun. It's a great event and really well supported.
Very good. Well, this has been an excellent conversation, Rob, and some of the insights that you've offered, I think, are very, very helpful and something that the listeners can definitely benefit from. So there's two things that I'd like to do here. I'm going to wrap this up, but before I go too much further, I actually want to do a little promotion. Clearly, you mentioned the book earlier, Train Your Brain for Success. We've got something here that we want to obviously give everyone access to. It's a special offer that we're going to be putting on the screen and, more importantly, putting in the episode description. Tell us about it.
Yep. So we talk about that daily, weekly, quarterly system for feeding your mind. What we've done is we've taken and put together, again, I bring a high degree of bias to this, some of our best, most impactful lessons and resources, and we put them in a package that allows you to take advantage of that. So what this includes is copies of both of our best-selling books, Train Your Brain for Success and Master Your Mind, supplemental audio programs. There is a 12-week self-guided coaching program where we do a deeper dive into a lot of the strategies and tactics that we share with our one-on-one coaching clients, the things that are designed to help you get and keep your head on straight and pay attention to the things that are most important to you and get that subconscious working for you and have that brain working for you instead of against you. And then it also includes a ticket to a live virtual event about once a quarter. We put together a live virtual event where it's just an opportunity to come and spend a day with me, and where we really dive in and help you learn and understand at a deeper level these strategies and these tactics that help get your brain working for you. So we dive in and go a lot deeper on understanding, your confirmation bias. We call it the reticular activating system, which is that, hey, I just bought that car and they're everywhere. Right? Yeah. We help you understand how to leverage that. We help you understand how to create those brain-friendly, energizing goals. Teach you how to build that calendar that gives you, most people are finding extra 10 hours every week that they didn't know they had. And tips for better supercharging your productivity. So it's just, listen, if this, however long this episode has been helpful to you, man, come spend a day with me. We'll probably change your life. So what we've done is put that together in a package. It's super easy to follow. It's super easy to use. It's super accessible. Price is not going to be the objection. We'll put it that way. And it's guaranteed. So if you don't like it, you just let me know and you get your money back. So go check that out. If you got questions, I'm cautious. I'm sure we're going to have all my contact information up as well. Feel free to reach out to us. But it's just a really great way for you to go, hey, you know what Rob and Roger were talking about made a lot of sense. And I think I'm ready for more of this. This is like the perfect first step.
I love it. Love it. So definitely take advantage of that opportunity. Go to the episode description. You'll find out more information there as to how you can benefit from this. At the same time, I want to encourage you to check out the episode description for the vision board exercise. It's that training that I was explaining earlier, the workshops that I've put on. I've actually recorded it. It's an online free course that you can go through to actually take the time to create for yourself your own vision board, things that help you visualize what it is you're striving for and the successes you would like to achieve. And with that, actually accelerate your opportunity to do so. So definitely go to the episode descriptions and take advantage of those. In addition to that, you can find some additional free resources there, books, courses, different white papers and so forth that will actually help as you're working on your business. Now, as a recap of the conversation today, I really want to thank Rob for being on the show. Some of the things that really stood out to me first of all, was this concept of a head coach. Clearly in life, you've got to have these coaches. And for anyone that's interested in being successful, you've got to have a coach that brings perspective to your activities, what it is you're doing that you're missing simply because you're in your own head. That perspective discussion, I think, was very, very helpful. And at the same time, the insights that individual is able to bring to the conversation are things that you can implement, and it does accelerate the successes that you're experiencing. In addition to that, he mentioned how we are really oftentimes prone to being very risk adverse, that we actually have within ourselves this wiring that says we want to be more safe and secure. And so what we need to do is break out of that mindset and be a little bit more open and eager to see things. And one of the phrases that I remembered was that one where he was speaking about beginning each day with curiosity, wonder what's going to happen to me today, and have that zeal, that excitement for every day's experience. In addition to that rut and groove analogy I thought was wonderful, simply because of the fact that it's the same darn thing. It's just the perspective that we're bringing to that experience, and having that idea of what are we going to go through, whether it be a rut or a groove, to get towards the destination we want is so true. Having been someone that goes off-roading and driven on a number of dirt roads, there are ruts in life that you can get sucked into. And sometimes when you do, it takes control and you can't get away from it. Well, it'd be nice to think that you're actually in a groove that's taking you where you'd ultimately like to be. And that's one of the things that's true. It's like being on a train track. The train's going to ultimately go where it's intended to be. Now, the other thing was that complementary thought that I was sharing is stumbling blocks versus stepping stones. It's the same experience. It's just how we go into it. Did we have our head up? Were we looking ahead? Were we prepared for the situation? Did we raise our knees when needed so that we could actually step on that situation and learn from it rather than being bruised and skinned from it? So that's one of the things that I thought was helpful in a conversation. The other thing that I thought was very important is this whole idea of how we can program our minds, be a lot more gratitude oriented, seeing the opportunities that present themselves. That's one of the things that I think we need to do, is really get our minds so that we can actually take these blinders off and let the subconscious filter through those things that we're really trying to find. So lots of good golden nuggets within what we're talking about. And then clearly the other thing was the personal time, that 90-day reset, the thing that we need to be doing to regularly just kind of reprogram, recharge ourselves, and rejuvenate for that next stretch that we're going to be running through. So lots of good implementable things that we have here in the conversation. So Rob, I'm going to come to you now. What's a closing thought that you'd like to share?
Yeah, everything you just talked about is spot on. And just like I said earlier, we covered a ton. And please don't do it all. Please don't try and do it all. Pick one thing, right? Pick one thing that you can focus on doing a little bit different, and watch the impact that has on your life, and watch the ripple effect that has on your business, your relationships, your health, your happiness, your joy, your enthusiasm. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just stick to finding one thing that you can do a little bit different, master that one thing, and then you feel free to move on to the next one after that.
Love that. Excellent advice. One thing at a time. I would say with that, live life with curiosity and gratitude. And that'd be a great place to start. All right. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. This has been a great conversation with Robb. Obviously, this is a conversation that we have each and every week with experts. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. We'd love to have you subscribe and get notifications as to each and every Wednesday when we release a new episode so that you can actually find those things that you need to be doing to work on your business and build, in fact, the premier accounting firm. If you'd like to actually listen to past episodes, we've put together a highlight list, playlist that you can binge listen to. Go to universalaccounting.com, and there in the navigation, you can find the podcast section. In there, we have the highlights. Go to those highlights, binge listen to those playlists. Basically dive into the things that are relevant to your business today, the things you're dealing with, whether it's marketing, selling, pricing, mental health, tech stacks, just a variety of topics that you can go deep in with those experts as it is to those specific situations and to subject matters. In addition to this, I want to invite you to GrowCon. GrowCon is an annual conference that we have for accounting professionals. It is for the owners of bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses. It's each and every year where we get together as a group to actually hear from the experts off the stage, as well as celebrate the successes within the accounting profession of individuals as they've worked on and built their successful bookkeeping, accounting, and tax businesses. In fact, let's celebrate you. Come meet your peers, make new friends, and collaborate with them so as to better service your clients. And of course, meet my staff here at Universal Accounting Center who are committed to helping you be in business for yourself, but not by yourself with Universal Accounting Center. In addition to all this, if you'd like more information about various things that you can be doing to work on your business, feel free to check out universalaccountingschool.com. It's there that we've got a number of courses and programs available to assist you, whether it's training you or your staff to offer quality accounting services. And then lastly, if you'd like to discuss these with either myself or my team, give us a phone call. You can reach out at 801-265-3777. And always remember this, if it's about accounting, it is universal. Take care and be safe out there and have a great day.